If you have a membership site or sell some sort of digital product like an online course, did you know that customer churn can lead to 33% loss in sales every year? That's a lot of money left on the table. If you aren't sure what churn is, it's not the same thing as
churning lots of butter, raise the barn on Monday, soon I'll raise another.
Churn is simply when you lose a paying customer. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 strategies that can help you prevent customer churn. Hi, my name is Ben, and I am the co-founder of Fly Plugins. On this YouTube channel, we give tips, tutorials, and strategies for creating and selling online courses. There are 2 types of customer churn, voluntary and involuntary. Preventing voluntary churn requires quite a bit more work than involuntary churn. There have been many studies done on this topic, but let's say that the average membership site will retain members for about 2 months. This number will vary from site to site, but this poses a pretty big problem if you are trying to sustain, build, and grow an online business. If you can't retain a customer for at least a year, you're going to have to hustle really hard to onboard new customers. When I first got into online business back in 2012, there were membership sites popping up left and right. They were all charging a monthly fee. Obviously, the site owners were onto the recurring income model, which wasn't a bad idea, but you had to work extremely hard to retain those customers. I'll talk more about this in just a minute. Recently, we've seen a shift from the monthly recurring model to a fixed price or fixed price paid in installments. But why? This is because site owners know that if the average retention period is 2 months, they will have more value in selling a year's worth of payments up front at a fixed cost. That would equate to an increase of over 80% in revenue. This just makes sense. I mean, wouldn't you rather be paid $500 up front rather than making $47 per month only for your customer to cancel membership after 2 months? Involuntary churn, on the other hand, is a little easier to mitigate, but it takes some finesse. Basically, involuntary churn occurs when a happy customer is lost due to an expired or declined credit card. I mean, they could be truly benefiting and finding value from your content. However, when their card expires, one of 2 things happens. On one hand, they might simply forget that they used that credit card for the membership site and fail to update the card. I mean, people are forgetful, right? On the other hand, when they go to update their credit card for the 25 other online services, they may begin to evaluate what they need and don't need, and you may not make the cut. That, my friend, is not good. On average, credit card and debit cards are issued with a 3-year expiration date. That means that 2.8% of all credit cards being used to purchase your premium content will expire each month, and over the course of a year, that's a 33.6% decrease in sales. That doesn't even take into consideration credit cards that are canceled due to being lost or stolen. That also means that customer retention will be at an all-time low, and you will be hustling like crazy to onboard new customers. The good news is you can be proactive in attempt to prevent both voluntary and involuntary churn. Here are 3 strategies that you can implement today. The first strategy is create high quality content. Now that may seem very obvious, but it's very important. Providing content that truly solves a burning pain point will increase the likelihood of keeping that customer. The idea here is to create content that your customers don't want to stop consuming. That means you will need to put in a little more effort to provide rich content that the average user can't find on YouTube or a Google search. For example, if you have a course on day trading or trading equities or commodities, the information and strategies change frequently. Ensuring that your customers have current information when trading in these markets will make your content even more valuable because most people don't have access to this information. This type of information is worth paying for, and you will certainly retain customers more effectively. Strategy number 2 is communication. It's important for you to be engaged with your community or tribe. You'll need to be sure to communicate things like new content, new products, new features, or maybe an updated course. If you fail to do so, your customers will assume that they've already consumed all the information that was initially presented to them, and they will assume that they have already received all of the value that you have to offer. There are many ways to stay in touch. There are email list services like ConvertKit or Aweber that you can use to send out an email blast. Maybe you could create a private Facebook group or even a Slack channel. In any case, the point is to stay in touch with your community. Strategy number 3 is to prevent credit card expirations. If you are running a subscription-based membership site or an online course, you're likely using a payment gateway to accept credit cards. This also means that you'll have access to know the expiration date for those credit cards. That said, so long as your content is worth paying for, you could simply send your customer an email asking them to update their credit card information, and they'd likely do it without a hitch. In fact, we had this same exact issue in our plugin business. We had customers that were contacting us asking why they couldn't submit a support ticket or why their license had expired. It turns out their credit card had simply expired. When we saw firsthand how this impacted our business, we felt the need to solve this issue. In doing so, we developed a plugin that would automate the process of emailing customers prior to the credit card expiring. We also realized that we weren't the only ones with this problem, so we decided to make our plugin available for everyone. We named the plugin Churnly. Here's how it works. Basically, you have a website that utilizes an e-commerce plugin with a payment gateway that accepts credit cards with a recurring billing model. When your customer purchases with a credit card, the expiration date is set during the purchase. The credit card data gets stored with the payment gateway, not on the website. This is where the Churnly plugin comes in handy. Now, all you have to do is set up an email that will be sent out in advance that will remind the customer to update their credit card information. You can set the email to trigger 2 months before the subscription is renewed or 7 days prior. It's up to you. Churnly communicates with the payment gateway to obtain the expiration date information. Then, when the email is sent, it will contain a special URL in the email. When the customer clicks the link in the email, they are redirected to a special page on your site that doesn't require them to log in. It simply has a simple credit card form. Then they simply fill out the new credit card details and submit. One thing we wanted to do is make it super easy for the customer to access the form and fill it out. If the form was difficult to figure out or required login details, it would just be another hurdle to jump and would potentially cause your customer to get frustrated and maybe even move on. Currently, Churnly integrates with WooCommerce subscriptions and Easy Digital Downloads recurring plugins. Churnly currently supports Stripe on the WooCommerce platform, and on the Easy Digital Downloads side, it supports both Stripe and PayPal Standard. If you don't use WooCommerce or Easy Digital Downloads, there are services out there that integrate with other e-commerce plugins, but they will likely have a higher cost. If you're not proactively addressing the issue of involuntary churn, then you are leaving money on the table, which means you will need to hustle to find new customers to make up for the ones you are losing, which technically you already have. I hope you found this video to be helpful. If so, would you please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Oh, and don't forget to click the bell so that you're notified immediately when we release another helpful video just like this one. Do you have any strategies that you use to reduce voluntary or involuntary churn? If so, would you do me a favor? Would you put it in the comments below? I'd love to hear them. And as always, thank you for watching. See you in the next video.